we need to make sure that our files are ready to be cut. So when the vinyl cutter your file and receives it, it's only going to cut where the lines are at. So if you have something like this here, which has, if you created a stroke and just, so you have a stroke here and you want to have this as, you want to have it cut out so that it looks just like it does here. But if you were to go to the vinyl cutter and you have this stroke here, it's just going to cut where the inside line is. So if I go over to view and I view the outline, what you see here is what it's going to cut. So you're going to see it cut this shape. So you're going to have this shape, and you won't have that outline that we had in our preview here. So if we bring the preview back, what we would want to do if we have a lot of strokes that are weighted here is go to object and expand that stroke. So you only have a stroke, and you expand the stroke, and now it's a shape. So now you would peel out that, peel in the middle part, and leave your shape there. So this is, we're turning a stroke to a shape. Now, I created this quick graphic here. Let me just put a couple of these little marks that I want you to do for your registration. So I'm going to do a circle first. It looks like it's really small. I think I did it wrong here. Have it selected as point. I got to make sure that this is inches. So 0.5, so a half an inch. Got a half an inch circle, and let me turn this to a rectangle. Down on click once, and since that's a half an inch, I'll do 0.75. 0.75, 3/4 of an inch. 0.75, and make sure that's 6 inches. Alright, now selecting both of these, bringing it to the middle, and deleting the inner. Alright, so for my registration, I'm just going to press Option, click on the object I want to duplicate, bring it over to the other side, select both of these, press Option, bring it down to the bottom. So now I'm set up with my registration marks. Alright, so on this image here, the first thing I want to do, and it just makes it easier, you could leave everything on one layer, but then you'd have to select what you want cut when you go over to the vinyl cut machine. So what I want to do is separate everything to different layers. So our registration is going to be used on all the layers, so we're going to copy this, delete it, and then add a new layer, and we can go paste into place, so it'll paste exactly where we copied it. Alright, and now one thing that I'm seeing a lot of is that you have overlapping shapes. So if I have the outline is going to be one color, and I want the inner to be another color, the white that's inside is going to be another color. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to make a duplicate of what I have here and bring it out here. So you can see I have these intersections are white, and I do want to make that intersection in here white. So what I'm going to do to make this intersection white is just select this outer shape, and I'm hitting delete twice. Hold on, let me change this. I got interrupted and had to turn the recording off. So let me switch this over. I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. So what I'm going to have to do is block out the areas that's going to have the other color, the separate color. So um, on this one here, you select all. I think just to kind of give you a better idea, let me just move it over here so that you can see exactly what it's doing with the background. So we're going to minus out using the shape builder tool, and we're pressing down option, so clicking what we want to minus out. So now this will be the one color. We don't want anything overlapping. It should fit like a puzzle piece. So now this should be the opposite of this. So we have our middle piece. Now we need to get rid of, select it, we need to get rid of all the black areas. Okay, so now you can add color if you want to right now. So, you could tell, or you could use it for like a guide for yourself, um, to give you an idea of what colors you might want to use. And then you could, when you have to go over to cut your vinyl, you know which color is which, just so it doesn't get confusing. All right, so I'm going to copy this one, delete it, and I'm going to make a new layer. Paste it on the new layer, and I want to set it into the middle here. And I'm going to just, this one's all set on this layer. So let me just move this over to make it fit perfectly in there. So now what's going to happen is, and you want to make sure that it's pretty fit perfectly in line here, so that when you use your registration mark, you don't have to adjust it so much. The registration mark should do all the work for you. So we have the one color, the two color, this is the registration, and then our second color. So when you go up to have it printed, I would make sure it's all unlocked, and then just show what you're printing first. You have to select it. Then you're going to be going up to the window and extension, and you'll see the roll-in extension there. Once you select have everything selected here like this, it's going to give you a little preview. There's a little printer that's, I think it's yellow. You click on that, and I show it in the video when I have it, how to change the rolls of vinyl. And then you just hit cut, and it'll start cutting on the vinyl cut machine. So once you select it here, that's going to cut exactly on the lines that you put. So if we take a look at these lines here, this is what it's going to cut. And then we're peeling out this part for the yellow, the inner parts here in this part. And then for the second color, we're peeling out here, the inside here, and these. So it's very simple. The shapes are simple. You don't want any lines. You don't want anything that looks like that, or stray lines, because it's going to cut everything it sees like this. So it's good for you to look at it in preview. So you want to go to preview, look at your file, make sure that it's set up correctly. It only has lines here. It doesn't overlap lines and stuff like that, because then the vinyl cutter is going to go and cut on those lines, and it may fray edges and cut through the paper sometimes. So Just make sure it's nice and clean before you go and do your final cut.